So how do we adapt one of these muscles to be so the dog doesn't take it off? This is real simple. Basically what we do, take a little piece of nylon rope like this, um, a little super glue, because what we're going to do, you can do several things. One, you can do this permanently where you just attach this here, put a little super glue on the actual rope, not on the muscle. You can roll it through here. Then, actually like this, I'm sorry. Run it through here like this. And have a little excess right there, see? Okay, this little excess here, you will super glue a little bit, put a little super glue here, and with some pliers, press it for a few seconds, right? It's gonna get really hot, but again, away from the muscle, okay? You still, the reason you do it between this and the muscle, so you still have the little comfort thing for the nose, for the snout. All right, once this is actually sealed, what you do then is, again, you have to measure this over the dog's head, kind of. So basically you can see how far to go. And actually, imagine this is the dog's head, right? Well, you would bring the rope to about here, making sure it's not too tight, not too loose. Cut it, and then once you cut it, again, you fold it over this loop here, and do the same thing. Super glue, hold it for a few seconds, and in the end, this is not actually it's not gonna be glued to the actual belt here, so you can still move it sideways. Now, if you don't want to do it on a permanent basis, at least on this side, you can always cut it off anyways. But what you can do is, if you don't want to make it a permanent basis, you can also do this. You can super glue it here. I don't have super glue right now. I'm out of it, so I'm going to show you by making a nut. You can also tie a knot. The only reason I don't do a nut is because some dogs like Nikki are very persistent, and she managed to actually open the nut. Again, it all depends, I guess, on what kind of rope you got. I got ghetto, cheapo rope, whatever I found at Walmart the other day. I guess if you get a better quality one, you'll be fine. Anyways, you could do this. Imagine this is super glued here, right? So you have this little loop. So you can just do this. Put this through here. Again, you do it through the little opening here, right? So you still have the little cushioning for the snout of the dog. You can obviously when you super glue it, the other thing is because you're not doing a nut, this thing would be actually smaller, this whole thing. Anyways, you could do this, it's tied, and again, you could come back behind this thing here, and here I would just do the super glue thing, just turn a loop, super glue it a little bit away from the actual belt, hold it with a plier so you don't actually burn because it's going to get hot. Once it's super glued, again, you're still going to be able to do this. And again, if you want to remove it, all you would have to do is undo this little thing, slide it out over this, and you could just undo this here, this little nut. Again, I'll show you the final product, how I did it with Nikki. I don't want to damage this one because this is for another dog. This is a number 6 for someone else. But anyways, Nikki, as you can see, this is Nikki's muscle. As you can see, if I want to take this off, this is super glued right here. All I have to do is undo this little thing here where I take this clip off. I can undo it. As you can see, this is a little hole because this is super glued here. Again, I can put this belt through here. And put the clip again. Some of these muscles you can take the clip off, some others you can't. what you can do if you can't clip, then most of these things, the clip is actually kind of permanently fixed to the muzzle. So it's easy. Just make sure that this little loop here is big enough to go over this. You know, you can do that. This doesn't have to be this tight. This was just my little way of doing it this morning. I was improvising. And in this case, I made it permanent here. As you can see, I had tied a knot already. I could have make something smaller. But anyways, I put some super glue on the knot. And again, I have this through the base of the snout support for the bridge of the nose or whatever of the dog. Anyways, you can just, once you do that, again, the muzzle is going to be like this. This is the dog's head, right? This will be over between the dog's eyes. This will be over the dog's eye and back here. And the dog should not be able to take it off then. Again, this is like a ghetto improvised way of doing this. Be honest, the dog that is properly muzzle trained should not be even trying to attempt to take off that muzzle. Now, sometimes we do have to do some things a little quicker than we want, and we have to, you know, socialize dogs, you know, muzzled. So again, the only way to keep the dog from taking the muzzle off is by having another fixator way. And again, gotta remember, every time the dog is able to undo the muzzle, and it goes against you. So we need to make sure that we supervise the dog when they're muzzled, so we can correct them every time they try to take it off. Every time, it's like a dog that is taught to stay, but we teach him that it's okay to break the stay. You never allow the dog to break the stay. Even, you know, don't call him from a sit stay or a down stay. You always go back to the dog. Same thing with the muzzle. The dog should never ever be allowed to take it off. So how we do that? Well, don't have the dog muzzled if you're not supervising him. If you're not going to be able to give him a correction. Hey, I've done corrections with a remote control. If you have one of those e-collars, put the e-collar on the dog after you properly e-collar train the dog. Hey, from the distance you can zap the dog every time he touches it. If the dog is, let me go and get this one of these muzzles on me. Ryan, I'm gonna borrow your muzzle. Okay, let me be the dog for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna be the dog. This is Raja's muzzle, I think. Anyways, I'm the dog, alright? Okay. I'm having hot dogs. If I'm not being supervised, I'm gonna do this. Oop. And I was able to take this off. So I'm gonna put it on when he or she is supervising. Okay. Well, so if I'm gonna be allowed to do this, then I better not have it on, because then I'm learning that I can take it off. Now, if every time I do this, I get sapped, I'm like, oh! So every time I touch this with my paw is bad, right? So I'm gonna associate touching this with something bad, so I better leave it alone. So if I'm getting sapped or corrected with a prong collar, I'm going to leave it alone. Now, obviously I'm getting corrected for touching it, but I get praised and, you know, good rewards. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Good rewards through here. So I'm going to want to have this on. Again, this takes about a month or so to get the dog really comfortable with the muzzle. This includes walks. During the walks is when we're going to correct the dog for trying to take it off. Basically, we walk with the dog gets used to walking with this. Every time they try to touch it during the walk, just keep on walking, correct and say no, and keep on walking. Oh, this is Annie's. Oops, I thought it was Raja's. Okay, no wonder it didn't fit me. Raja and I have the same muscle size, he and I. Anyways, that's it about muscle. Again, you can do this little ghetto improvisation, like I call it. This is my, I don't really want to spend $80 per dog in this house. I'd rather use my $10 muzzles that are cheaper, and all it takes me is a little piece of rope to do this. So anyways, that's it for muzzle. I hope this dogs taking muzzles off. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, just email me. All right.